and not all of them always logging into the Zoom, but they all watch online. Hello, good evening, guys. I'm just gonna start streaming. What time is it for you, Pauline, at the moment?
It's 8:01. We're 2 hours ahead.
So 2 hours ahead. Right. Let me just make sure that I... Wi-Fi is being a bit slow today. Okay, so
It's live, I guess.
yeah, it is. It's going now. I feel like because at the moment everyone is working from home and like Zoom and Wi-Fi are always a little bit slower. So thank you so much for making the time for us, actually. I know I've been chasing you for a while.
Thank you for hosting me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no, you're a very busy lady, but the reason why I wanted to get you in onto the call today is because I strongly believe that so many people can actually benefit from it. And obviously I was really impressed first time when I've met you, and you know, we had a contact with everything that you've done and you know everything you've built, and also you know the companies you've worked with, the companies and entrepreneurs you continue to work with as well. We want to know a little bit more about Noble Manhattan as well, your other business. And yeah, and like literally, I just feel you've got such a rich background where I feel just listening to you, we can learn so much from you. And also, if you don't mind me sharing as well, I wanna share with the with the ladies into the group that you've built all those like kind of machines, because it's like literally a machine what you've built, being a single mom as well.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, and you know, and being in the corporate industry where it's like a woman in a men's world, as we spoke the first time. So Pauline, thank you so much for tonight. Like I said, there will be probably people logging in. We are also streaming, so anyone who is watching and has any questions, I will pass to you. But I will firstly pass on the mic to you to introduce yourself, because I can speak a lot about you, but I'd love people to hear from you, and then I've got questions prepared for tonight to rock on, obviously.
Excellent. Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here, really. And I'm Pauline Sawaya. I'm a Lebanese and Cypriot. I come from a normal family. My mom is Cypriot. My dad is Lebanese. So recently I've moved to Cyprus, and now I'm operating from Cyprus. My background is mainly in business, in HR and general management. So I've been in the corporate world for like 25 years, Anna. So, and like 3 years ago, I've decided enough. I need to move on. I'm a single mom of a lovely teen, and this is here's the reason mainly that I moved to being an entrepreneur. Yeah. Because I wanted to spend some time with my son, and he was going into the tweens and everything that comes with it. So I thought I needed more time with my son, and it turned out that you work much more, but it's a different kind of work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, you're still not stopping, and like you continue to work with kind of you continue to work. You do work with entrepreneurs and businesses, but also your company works a lot with corporations as well and trainings. So you kind of continue to work with that. But I guess it's on on your own terms. So the first question which I want to ask you, and I think people will be really interested, is can you just share with us what is it? By the way, great location to choose to work from in the lockdown, Cyprus. I am a little bit gutted I didn't go back to Bulgaria and work from Bulgaria during lockdown as well, to be honest. But great location to work during to choose from lockdown. And I think that's one thing is when, you know, the fact that we can operate our businesses from so many places, it's amazing because we kind of can choose from where to operate from. So the first question I want to ask you is that you probably know what I will ask you, because I've been very impressed of how you climb up the ladder within the corporate sector, but also you continue that type of relationships, and you continue, you know, to do the training and the coaching and everything from a human resources management perspective. And can I just say that you also know, you know, you were very, very high level in the corporate ladder. So you didn't leave the corporate industry because you weren't taking the money that you didn't want, because you were on the big bucks already. You took, you know, you thought to start something which was more your, you know, your passion as well.
More my
yeah,
passion.
Exactly. So what is it to be a woman in the corporate sector? You know, what does it take to be a woman in the corporate sector as well? Because one of the sectors you've been as well, they're very, very mainly dominated.
Yes, definitely. I've worked in the oil field in Kuwait. I've been in the telecom business as well. I've been in the online intelligence. So all the positions that I had were in a challenging environment where, you know, like you said, driven by men.
Yes.
And definitely, Anna, I did not leave because I did not reach anywhere. I was the general manager of a multinational when I left. And people, when they knew that I was leaving, they thought I went crazy. So I waited until I informed people that I left. I left, but I continued on showing that I'm still at the corporate world, so no one knew until later. 3 months later, they came to know that now, until I settled my business, finished, reinstated. So, and then I told everyone now I'm on my own, because when you hold a general manager position in a multinational, you say, you know how it is. People tell you you're crazy, you're leaving a secure job.
Because really, really in that field, that position is like equal to director level in any other, you know, we're talking, you know, especially in the intelligence and stuff, we're talking about very, very serious things. You know, and I can only imagine from a human resources perspective as well. So what is one thing that, you know, like our ladies here, they want to, some of them, not all of them, so we've got a mixture of ladies, so they want to approach corporations with the coachings that they do. What is one advice that you will probably give to someone who want to approach corporations with the coaching that they do? What would be the corporations interested in, to see how they can approach them so that they can be noticed? You know, what's your advice around that? And also being a woman as well.
Okay, mainly we all know the power of coaching, but sometimes corporates do not know it. And it's very important for the coach or the person who's approaching a corporate to build their brand. And this is crucial, because you need to build your reputation. People want to bring on board successful people, so they want to show them what is the process that they will use. They need to be transparent. They need to build a brand and be visible. People, when they coaching empowers people, definitely. And not only on the personal level. When we speak about companies, we're talking about shifting the whole performance and the culture of the company. And when a company decides to hire a coach, it's because they see the need for a coach. It's not like training. When they training, you know, you're training for soft skills, you're training for something. But when they want to bring a coach on board, they're looking for a partner. They're looking for somebody who's reliable, authentic, has a brand. So you approach it like you are the brand. So you need to build your reputation and be out there. The most important thing is show up, because really what I've seen so far with the coaches, unfortunately, is we have issues with showing up and being visible. So we need, in a world where really, especially as women as well, you need to show up and prove that you are as qualified as any other person.
Yeah,
It's not about being a woman or a man, it's about being a person. So show up for yourself, show your brand, show what do you stand for, be authentic, don't copy anyone else, because I don't believe that anything that works for you would work 100% for me, Anna. We provide different things. And when they hire you, it's because they want you, the
yes,
things they saw
yeah,
in you, not
yeah,
the things they saw
yeah,
in me and they hired you for it.
yeah,
So really be there, be out there, speak at events, add value, promote yourself. It's not bad to promote ourselves. You know, it's we've been raised in a way that promotion is bad, especially as women. And I see it more in the Middle East, where you cannot be visible and promote yourself. This is a taboo, but it's totally not the truth. If you want
yes,
to achieve results, you need to be visible, you need to be out there, and just as a person, don't think of yourself, I'm a woman, he's a man. Regardless, you're a person and you're as qualified as any other person.
yeah.
So
I am very happy, Pauline, that you've said, you've touched on the visibility note, because a lot of people think that just because they're approaching corporations, they don't need to be visible. So that's the first thing which which I really, really, because you're 23, I've been 10 and a half years, but you're actually 23 years, and you've built two like machine businesses within the corporate sector. And it's so good to hear it from someone like you as well, who says, you have to, even when you're approaching corporation, you actually have to be visible, because one thing that they will measure you by is how can you actually bring success to our business. And that's very important. And, visibility nowadays is so much more easier than even when I was starting 8.5 years ago as a trainer. LinkedIn and Facebook were not that much developed.
yeah,
They were just like kind of a CV in there, and that was it. And we had to like physically be going to each companies, physically be constantly calling. That was the only thing that we are relying. And even though we've got it so accessible, I feel like people are still struggling, like you said, with the promotion side. People are still struggling to pull the brand forward, and show who they are. So if you have to, well, I'm not going to ask you if you have to choose a platform for corporations, because I know what your answer will be. It will be obviously LinkedIn, but if you have to choose a one type of, to start working with corporations, what would you advise if someone who's never worked with the corporate sector, right? Someone who has been in the corporate industry, probably before, probably not.
yeah.
Someone who's never worked into the corporate sector and really wants to start kicking off now and approaching companies. Would you advise that visibility and cold calling has to go hand in hand, or would you advise that one of those things has to go forward?
You need to bring whatever you have at hand to make you visible, even if going there and giving a free talk, networking with women, going on Women's Day, giving a free talk. I think what played a big role, and I think is really successful, is to collaborate with other people. So
Trainers,
yeah, strategic partnerships as well with people is very important, because referral is key as well. So
especially in the corporate sector.
but you need to be visible to refer you. So you need to add value. People will approach you only if you add value. If I don't add value, no one will approach me and no one will know that I exist. Definitely LinkedIn is the number one platform for networking and for adding value. But there are even groups on Facebook. And we know that there are very highly interactive groups on Facebooks where you can go and interact. Now Clubhouse is a big thing. Although I'm not a full fan of Clubhouse because it's too much talking at a certain point in time.
And it's not so much at corporations, but yeah.
Yes, but effectively, you have a lot of business owners on Clubhouse.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Medium enterprises rather than, yeah, I agree with that, because I've actually been invited by a medium enterprise, by my accountant, actually, an accountancy firm, to hold a talk on sales in Clubhouse next week. And I'm very happy that you said about the Facebook group, because I do feel like a lot of people underestimate Facebook.
Yes.
I personally got approached by an enterprise last week and a corporation on a Facebook, which I couldn't even believe it, because it wasn't on that level before. And I'm also invited, part of one, I think you're in there as well, a corporate training group on Facebook, which is also quite highly interactive. And I think, you know, it's a really good thing where you touched on that Facebook can be as effective as LinkedIn at the moment, because they really, you know, to that speed ahead as well. What is the difference between coaching and training when it comes to corporations?
Okay, for training, you know that you're the person in the room, you're the authority, and you're telling them what to do.
Yeah.
So they're expecting a one-way approach and them absorbing the information and telling them the best way, the best approaches. But in coaching, it's more a partnership. I see it personally as a partnership with a person to bring the best in them, so they get more self-awareness. In training, you get the skills, but it's not more self-awareness about you. It's once you know you're very well aware of yourself, then you can understand yourself better, then you can understand others better, then you can shift your performance to another level, which is very important, because training is effectively you have someone in the room sharing their knowledge and their know-how, their theory, whereas in coaching, even with the executive coaching, you're working on empowering them, but everything is within them. So once they feel that they are the source of all the solutions, this is what makes a difference. And especially it's powerful, you know, I've seen it very powerful when you do team coaching. And this setup of, instead of sitting and telling them what's a high performance team, for example, is what could a high performing team look for you? Which one is better?
Yeah.
Exactly, just tweaking the question and just taking and seeing the things from different perspectives, people understanding their teams as well, understanding where they come from. I do believe in the work of values in companies a lot, because this is cultures, as they say, the culture of a company is the value plus how you do things, simply as simple as that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
With trainings, you don't go into values. With coaching, you go into values. So there are a lot of tweaks that really make a big difference for corporates. And corporates now are more into looking into those personalized, customized approach than off the shelf.
Thank you so much for confirming that as well. That's so important. I've been saying that since last year, that actually that will be, you know, and coaching is hugely going into the corporate sector, and they really, really need it. And it will be more so now whilst COVID bill is lasting for the next 2 years. As an ex-HR director and as a current director of, you know, 2 big companies, can you give us a tip? What's the best way for a coach to approach you? Or no, not just even a coach, someone who wants to offer their services. What is the best way to approach a human resources director?
I think the best way is first to connect with them.
Yeah.
People think by sending an email directly to the company or offering their services, things don't work like this, because there are 10,000 other people doing the same thing, sending those offers and whatever. Try to build a relationship within those networks. So go there, add value, let them see you in their groups, and add value as well. Offer them a free report, approach them with a conversation. That's it, a small conversation. I was going through the profiles. I saw you, and ask a question that is relevant to what kind of coaching you give.
Yes, yeah.
And this will be a conversation opener. So once you try to open a conversation, people want to deal with people. They don't want to deal with automatic replies and those pre-done emails. They want to see this interaction, and this is key because they don't want to be. They are bombarded daily by offers, bombarded
Yeah.
daily by somebody. I have the best offer for you. I have the best customized. Nothing.
Yeah.
A conversation, and
It's
if
building.
Zoom meeting.
It's building relationships, isn't it? It's building relationships, and that's what I always say to my guys as well. The first email that needs to be sent to a corporation is literally like a conversation opener, because I think too many people are concentrating on the sales process and too little people are concentrating on the relationship process. And when you actually, when you don't concentrate on the sales process, you end up selling so much more, because you really, yeah, you really understand the person. And you know, it's not just about you want to take them. It's about, you know, it's not just about them if they want to choose you. It's about you. Do you want to actually work with some of them? Because you might not want to even work with some of them.
Definitely.
So it's not worth selling. So, you know, it actually gives you a point of understanding them as well, and going ahead. What is your opinion on using headhunters for corporations?
Lead generators, you mean?
Yes, lead generators.
Listen, I think they might do the work, but it's the first step, only the first step, and then you need to take it forward. Definitely automating some processes at early stages, definitely sending those automated, let's say, connection requests, but then you need to step in. No one can do it better than you, because this is when you stop the sales. You're not another salesperson, you're just opening a conversation, and this is a maker or breaker. Because as you said as well, you might not be willing to work with the company afterwards. It's not only about them taking your services, you as well being able to offer them, because we're free to choose with whomever we like to work with.
We like to work, yeah.
Add value. So it's important, definitely.
One thing I've noticed as well with corporations recently, you know, with the market getting open up again back in Europe, as you know, it was a little bit suppressed for the past 4 or 5 months, especially. One thing I've noticed is that now when you speak with them and when you email with them, they do go and check your LinkedIn.
Yes.
They check your activity on LinkedIn. They check the articles you've written, they check the posts you've done, they've checked the groups sometimes you're in, and they ask you about it. And I had a very short conversation today with a law firm where I will be possibly doing training with my business partner on that. And they got back to me and they said, I did see that, you know, the managing partner has checked my LinkedIn 3 days ago. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine, because at least they're paying attention to what I've sent them. And they sent me back an email and said, yeah, we've actually have been impressed with your LinkedIn profile. I did feel a bit embarrassed because I wanted to change a few things on LinkedIn, which it's pushing me to do them now. But what it showed me is that they're actually checking, and they were like, we were really interested in that article that it was published 3.5 months ago. So I'm like, gosh, you even know for the amount of time, you've probably gone through my whole LinkedIn presence and really check that I am who I say I am. So I love what you said about the consistency. You know, yes, it is about approaching them. Yes, it is about using lead generation, but don't forget the visibility side of the online. Why do you think people sometimes are reluctant to be online visible?
You know, we're afraid to take the first step because we're not used to it. If you think about it, it's a sales process. Once you see it as not a sales process, you're not selling something, you're just providing a service. You're just providing something that will change something of value. Then you stop selling, because once they see you that you're passionate about what you do, this is when you stop selling as well, because they will sense it in the way you do business, in the way you put your profile. And adding on the profile, you know, I've been in business for the past number of years, 25, let's say, and I've had my company since 10 years, and I never had a website. because I did not believe that this is important. But now
Yeah.
with everything online, I did the website because people want to find you. They need to find you. You need
Yeah.
to be visible everywhere possible. So if they
Yeah.
Google you, they need to see that you're consistent, you're working on your brand,
Yeah.
you're investing on yourself, you're doing the extra mile.
Yeah.
So you get
Yeah.
visible and they see you. So this is
Especially with the website, you're actually right. Now more and more companies are actually asking, they're asking, what's your website? They didn't used to before, because when I started my consultancy business, I went a good number of years without needing websites.
yeah.
But right now you can't even do that. And one thing which I've noticed is that they're looking how good your website is, what platform your website is built, how well is written, what's the accreditations you're having, what's the awards you've taken, what is the contract you've given, or all of those things. So not just company referrals, but even if you've just worked with entrepreneurs, what is the referrals? They really look at your website. And love the fact that you touched on Google, on Google, on the Google side of things, because I don't think this will be something which I'll be covering actually with the accelerator in the next few weeks, of how they can use Google Ads for much less money than Facebook and LinkedIn, and really drive a huge traffic to their website, and really drive a huge visibility to their website, because I don't think any in the accelerator is doing it. And it's very, very important currently as well. I've learned my lesson through mastermind the other week too. So that's very good what you're touching on.
Yes, it's very important because you need to be very visible wherever you can. Just be out there. People need to know you exist.
Yeah. And like you said, it's really important your website to be secure, to be built on a good platform. And we used to underestimate the websites before, not anymore though. It's like everything is in there now. And so that's really, really good. And like we said, with Google Ads, 3 times more money savior than Facebook or LinkedIn.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the reach, and it's more professional. And another point, that when coaches start, they start with @gmail.com. Don't do that. Please. This is the first time that you're
I did that. Oh, I'm communicating with you via Gmail, I actually think.
Because it's faster. But we have, when we do the professional ones, we send from our, I send with shift. So they need to see that you have an identical identity wherever they search for you. They can find you. This helps building your brand. Whereas @gmail.com doesn't build a brand, because it could be anything. So once they get used to this, and you will get more visibility, which is a very, we take it for granted that it's okay. It's not, because you need to build a brand, and this is something minimal that we need to invest in. We need to invest in our business, otherwise it doesn't grow.
No. What does it take to be 23 years in the corporate sector and 10 years in the business sector, and drive successful businesses, and be a single mom as well? Every time since I've interacted with you, I've always seen you smile. You look so much together. You've never complained. You're really composed. What does it really take?
I think it's the mindset and the passion and the grit, because life is full of up and downs, and people will never see the things you go through, but they see what you show them. And I think what is key is being everywhere the same person. It's like, if you see me casually, or if you see me in a company meeting or whatever, you'll see the same Pauline, because consistency and authenticity is key. It's like, this is what attracts people to you, Anna. It's like being authentic. You have nothing to hide, and believing in what you offer. And this, once you believe in what you offer, that has an impact, because I strongly believe that the services that I give, the coach training or the consultancy or the capacity building, make an impact and a difference. And this is why I don't feel like I'm selling them. I feel I'm adding value to the world. I'm changing one person at a time, and it gives you joy. It gives you something that, and this is, you need life happens, and it happens for us. Sometimes we don't see it. It happens. And for example, people don't know that I am in Cyprus now because we've been hit with the third biggest explosion in Lebanon. And I had the choice either to die in misery there or pack my bags and do something about it. And we're always faced with this. Sometimes you have to take the decision to step up and say, okay, it's happened. What's the lesson? Let me go forward. Never stop, because once you stop and you start contemplating whatever happened, learn from the lesson and just move on, and it will give you the grace every time, because you're passionate. Once you believe in your services, this is key.
Yeah,
it's a key thing, and for me personally has been one of the things that really helped me in my
it helped you. One thing you said there, which I absolutely loved, because I'm very big fan of it, it's about the grit.
Yeah,
you need to be grinding a lot.
Yeah,
and I think people don't realize that when they see the success.
Yes,
That the only way.
Iceberg, that's it.
Yes. How many times have you failed? Have you failed in business?
Definitely I failed. I did very big mistakes. I even trusted the wrong people at one point in time, made wrong strategic alliances, got my products taken, and a lot of things can happen, definitely. And you can say, oh, why did it happen to me? Or it's fine. They will never be me. This is what I believe. If me and you go to the same company, we provide exactly the same service. You're going to give it in a way, I'm going to give it in a different way. Even if they have the course itself that we're going to give and it's identical, because you give yourself in the course, Anna. So definitely I failed. I made big mistakes, and I don't regret them because I've learned. And effectively, I believe if we're not making mistakes, we're not doing something right, because we need to fail, we need to learn from it, we need to do alliances with the wrong people so we get a kick and say, understand that, yes, next time do better, better investigation, look at different things. So it's part of life and it's part of business. You cannot have always an upward curve. It's
always ups and down, and it's always how you respond in it. And I think when you start, obviously not having emotions, but being aware of how you're using your emotions when it comes to business, and when you start being aware of those emotions and how where you put them, and how you almost kind of compare them to like put things into brackets, and being more active rather than reactive things. And I think that's when the game changes. That's where your belief system hits in, and that's where it can be seen, whether you're working with companies or people or businesses. What is there a difference for you between how you approach a corporate organization and how you approach an entrepreneurial or medium enterprise? Not medium enterprise, small business rather.
Yes, small businesses, are the approach is different because they're the big corporation have their own system. They're more rigid. You need to be, you need to have to approach them in a certain way, by the book and all of that. The SMEs are more flexible, more agile. They like to see more things happening faster. Whereas over there, you see things taking more time. So you need to be much more patient when you're working with a big corporate versus working with an SME or an entrepreneur or a startup, because with the SMEs and some things move faster. They're very excited to change. They're very open. They want to succeed very fast, prove themselves. Whereas corporates are established, and they are established, and you need to go by the way things are to them. So it requires much more patience on the corporate side, much more agility on the SME and entrepreneur and startup side.
The startups, One thing I would love to break the myth tonight, and I'm saying it confidently because I know you will agree with me, is that obviously me and you come from a corporate background, driving corporate training businesses and stuff, but we also work with entrepreneurs and small businesses. Now, a lot of people do think that in the corporate industry, you can make much more money than much quicker than you can do in the small and entrepreneurial business. And one thing I've been preaching lately is, yes, you can, but you also require to bring the law. And the best thing to do is to build your business across the board. So your business has to be stable to work with entrepreneurs, small businesses, medium enterprises, and corporations. I know pretty much how you're driving your companies forward as well, but I also want to hear your input on that.
Definitely, I agree with you that you need to be ready for any opportunity, and you need to knock the door for opportunities. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you won't be able to see them. But definitely with the SMEs and the entrepreneurs, there is business. There is a very big untapped market that we tend to, ignore. So we go for the corporates. And in terms of time and effort, if you do the ratio, I think it would go for the. My sweet spot is I love working with SMEs. This is where I love to work. This is where because they're more agile. They're more. I like to do things differently, not by the book and stuff like that. So working with SMEs for me has been much more rewarding. I come from the corporate background, as you said, and I know the difference between corporate and SME, because also some of the businesses that I've worked with when I was in the corporate, we started as a startup and we achieved very high results. So we became a corporation, and I know the difference. And you need to find where do you want to be. You cannot be everything for everybody. This is the key. You need to be ready, fine, but do you want to cover everything? Choose your niche and excel in it much better than being looking for opportunities everywhere and not knowing where.
Nothing, I would say that, so from the very beginning, as you know, like I started as a corporate trainer and then obviously expanded to small businesses, medium enterprises and entrepreneurs. And I believe that for your business to be stable, you need to make sure that you can offer, you can offer trainings to those 4 sectors, but you can only be good at one thing. And, for you, that's, human resources and coaching. For me, that's a sales training and strategy. And it's very important, whether you're approaching corporation or you're approaching small business and entrepreneurs, for them to actually know what is that. If they all want to know one thing, if they want to work with you, what's the comeback of it? I'm going to open up for quick questions now, so if you don't mind, and if anyone wants to ask anything. But it's been a pleasure talking to you so far, actually. Guys, those of you who are live, do you want to unmute yourself and go ahead? I've got a few questions I'm going to read as well on the live. Sorry. Right, I'm just having Marie's saying that she's loving the advice that you've given, and she's saying transform people, and that's so true. And we're going back into the fact that how important, when you said we need to be able to invest in our businesses, otherwise there's only so much where you can go.
Definitely, you need to.
Sorry.
You need to grow for the business to grow.
Yeah. Right. Anyone has any questions?
I think we have something. Okay.
No, someone is saying that they're eating dinner, but they're listening to us. Agent Bardo, he's saying she's eating dinner, but she's listening to us. I think Alice is mute herself.
Pauline, so I would just like to reiterate that it was a fantastic advice, and for me, the takeaways for me was that you confirmed that we need to be showing up as our brand. And I think as a woman in corporate, or just in many of our industries and environments, that's sometimes harder than it looks to show up and to have a voice. And we often get beaten down. And to have that feminine energy in a masculine world, when we've worked in corporate and then we go into our own businesses, it's about finding that balance. And I know that's what I, have struggled with, but I'm finding my feet, but it's about coming at it with a new energy.
Definitely.
I love to hear that I need to collaborate with strategic partnerships. It's something that I hadn't really taken on board, but it's definitely an area I need to have more confidence to look at.
Yeah.
But it's not about competition, it's about collaboration.
There is enough for everybody, believe me.
And especially in the corporate sector, it's so important to form strategic partnership, because I've probably not shared that one with the group, but one of the reasons why my corporate side of the business exploded in the second year is because I've collaborated with one of the top docs in the city at that time. It took me a good year and a half to get to him. I had to have like a few contracts under my belt to show that I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I mean, partnering with him was what took me to the next level. And he was actually my direct competitor, because he was a sales trainer for corporations as well. We were doing exactly the same thing, but also, like Alice said, we were having different energies, because he was a guy, I was a woman. So it was different, you can do, and like we always say, we might all do the same thing, but no one can do it the way we do it, that there's a different energy to everything.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think my third takeaway, well, there were lots, but my third was just like this continual reminder that we need to add value, and how we show up adding value all the time. And definitely my experience when working in corporate was that I had to over deliver and add value all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's tempting to think that we don't need to do that so much but of course we do. We absolutely do.
Because Alice, you're the product, you're the brand, you're everything. So
exactly.
Actively adding value as yourself, they will see you more, you'll be more visible, they will come for you for advice. Even I would like to add here one thing on the point that adding value on the corporate world. The key for women in the corporate world to succeed is to have a voice. Is to have a voice and add value. For example, I tell the HR, don't wait for managers to come to you. Go to them. Go to the business. Sit with the managers. Add value in their meetings. Don't expect them to come to you with questions. You need to step out of this office. And this open door policy, we laugh a lot about it. They have an open door policy and they need 300 meetings to get in. Forget it. Get out of your office and go to people, be in the business, meet the employees, ask them how they're doing. This is how you add value. I don't add value if I create a perfect procedure. Who cares about it? They need to see me as a person, as an HR who's giving value. So there you can have a voice. Even with HR, because there is this thing with HR that we don't have a voice. Definitely, if you don't speak up, you will never have a voice. Speak up and go out of your office and show the people that you have a voice, and then they will come back to you for advice. But they won't. Why would I go to Pauline if I don't see any value? And she never speaks in a meeting.
Yes.
We need to step up every day in everything, even if we are employees, even if we are managers, even if we are everywhere. It's very important, yes.
For business owners as well.
Yeah. In any way.
With Clubhouse, because I know me and Alice had a discussion that we can get a bit of overwhelmed with that. So I've actually kind of found the trick where I've started implementing all the important talks that I am interested in into my calendar, and I switch off my settings the rest of the time. Also, the other reason is because it drains my battery really quickly. It's like pinches every second, and my battery drains really quickly. So in terms of overwhelming, I found that very, very, kind of taking away the pressure and allowing me to concentrate only on the people I value or I'm interested in, and in the businesses that I'm interested in as well. But like you said, a great collaboration, but it's just more kind of finding your way through the noise.
Definitely, because you don't have to engage in every single room they open. Otherwise, you will not have energy to work. It's just in those rooms that you will add value or learn something even.
Yeah.
Because we can learn over there, but select. You don't have to be in all the rooms every day. I don't go to Clubhouse during the day. I don't even
Yeah.
open notification. I leave it late for like 1 hour and that's it. And you schedule it like you said, and I just keep note of the things I want to attend, and
Yeah.
that's it, because they will drag you. And if
Yeah.
you want it, it will drain you, and you don't want,
Mm.
want to invest your time in a better thing.
Yeah, because actually I did listen to a quite good corporate talk the other day on Clubhouse, and I was very surprised. But it was, you know, human resources directors, learning and development managers. They were like on Clubhouse from a few investment banks. So it's great, you know, and we followed each other. A few of them added me on Facebook. That's how one of the corporate side of things found me, actually. It was through the Clubhouse, then Facebook, and then I think she requested me today on LinkedIn. So, you know, if you kind of cut through the noise, you can find a very, very valuable things in there. Whether that survives after lockdown, that's my other, you know, not worry, kind of, you know, I've got some reserves around that. But anyway, we're not going to discuss Clubhouse today. It's not Clubhouse future on the go. Have you got any other questions, Alice, or do you want to say anything else?
No, unless anybody else does. I think a very valid point, though, that Pauline made was that as part of showing up is our front of house, our message. So, you know, often what we forget is we're so busy, you know, doing, but, you know, it is as people find us, how we can be found, and as people find us, you know, when we send that email, when they Google us, that is how, that's the first initial interpretation of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something I've always, and I'm so glad you said it, Pauline, because I spend a lot of time on that. And sometimes I think, God, I'm being really you know, I'm really being fussy over how my email signature comes across, or, you know, the website stuff and things like this. But actually you've confirmed to me that first impressions and how you're found, etc., are important.
Yeah, you don't have to over-engineer it, Alice. It's just keep it simple and be visible, and this is it. You know, it doesn't have to be the super perfect website, but at least have a presence where people can, and your website should look like you. This is very important. Like, if you go to my website, it's very simple. You know, it's not this fancy website, everything scrolling around. It's not me, because this is not me. So everywhere they go, they will see the same feel. And this is how you build your brand, definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Simon Sinek was talking the other day about corporations as well, and working in corporations. And he was saying corporations pay for simplicity, because they've got already so much on their head. Like, they pay for simplicity. So the more simpler you are, the better you are. And another takeaway, which was, he was actually on Clubhouse, by the way. That's where I've heard it. So yeah, he was on Clubhouse. And so another thing he was talking about, you know, we're going back to the grit and being visible and being consistent. He said, you know, if you want to lose weight, right, you want to lose 5 kilos, so you don't exercise tomorrow, and then you say, well, actually, I'm not losing weight, so there's no point, so I'm not going to do it anymore. So he was saying it's the same thing with the business. You can't just do it once and then not do it for 3 weeks and then do it once again. There has to be a consistency of action, because it's just not about that, but it also brings trust with the people and the companies. When the consistency is the first thing that brings trust as well.
Definitely.
Rather. Nala's unmuted herself. So Pauline, Nala is actually, she has an amazing group, and she is empowering women in the, not just in the entrepreneurials, but in the enterprise world from minority backgrounds. And she won a few investments right now, isn't it, Nala? Or scholarship as well.
Yeah.
So the projects are really interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Pauline, where are you from? Because your accent is like Arabic people.
Yes, I'm Lebanese.
I'm Sudanese.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because of your accent, I said you must be from Palestine or Lebanon. Yeah, that's why I asked you. So, hello, Habibi. So what I want to say regarding the branding and the colors and your identity, I went for feminine colors because it's a women organization. I got a website designer, like he's understanding exactly what I want. So I put money and time on that because I think the website is an asset by itself. So it's a brand and I have to build it carefully because this is what the customer will associate. So
Yeah.
if you build that, then they will see my picture, will see the colors. Okay, this is Nala, this is the Star Women sub. So this is exactly what I want to do. Regarding putting yourself in the front, it comes to you. The effort is paid for, you know. I'm investing in coaches, and I think if you invest in coaching, this is the first best strategy you should do because nobody can develop himself without mentoring, whatever is the level. So today I was interviewed by an interfaith organization. So that is for the Christian, for the Jewish, and for the Muslim community. So that will attract in Edinburgh, attract some women to the business. And there is the Afro-Caribbean Association as well. Soon I will be in another podcast. So things are coming. The role is going very fast to the extent that, oh my God, but you know what? I'm safe. I'm still managing everything, doing the social media myself, but I use technology and automation to get it shorter. Like I ask for the best applications, so I just go for it to schedule the things right. And but at some point I will need somebody to help me. But until that time, I'm trying to learn everything. So at the moment, if you invest in yourself and you're learning, I think this is the only way you can understand what the people are doing because you can just keep yourself like that, delegate it to somebody, and they will give the rubbish. But your personality, you said you have to add value. It's you, it's your vision, it's yourself. So nobody can do it better than you. So at least you should explain and get the right people. If not, do it yourself until. So your talking was amazing. So I was eating my lunch, so I got dinner. So I was able to go here. I was live in Facebook. So I said, "Oh my God, I'm already fat. I don't want to look like that." So yeah, yeah.
Well done on securing those investments as well, Nala. This week, you've had a great. She's doing she's doing an incredible job. Actually, we need to actually kind of make more noise about what you do because it's an incredible job that you're doing, and you've got an incredible house. So really huge well done for securing those investments, securing those projects. That's a really, really big job. So
thank you very much.
One thing before I actually let you go was, and I forgot my question, and I bet you that the minute we put the Zoom down, I will remember it, and then I will get back to you, and I'll be regretting that I forgot it. But basically, what I wanted to say is that no matter what type of what sector you're in, what field are you serving? The question came back to me, so I'll ask you. What field you're serving, you have to be consistent and you have to show up every single day like who you are. Last question. Do you advise big corporate contracts as opposed to daily rate contracts? Because I know what I like, but I will be very interested to hear what's your input on that.
Can you repeat? It's big. What?
Yeah. Do you advise for a coach to go after a big corporate contract, not just a coach, like a business owner, or to start with a daily rate contract?
They need to have both. In my opinion, you always need to have different. You need to have the program that you serve that is midway. And you need to have the elite. I call it the elite program. So you always need to have both because one will feed the middle will feed the other eventually. And the target would be the elite. They don't want to go in the middle. So you need to have a portfolio of products, not just one-on-one coaching and that's it, let's say, or this service, that's it. Have a diversified portfolio so you attract more and more clients and more things to your life. Because if I'm working with one package and that's it, then if it doesn't suit them, I will.
So that's why I always have, don't overdo it on products, but have 2 services out there that you really go ahead and kill it. Thank you so much for tonight. I really appreciate it because I know like you're a very busy lady. I'm looking forward to catching up with you soon as well. Guys, thank you. There's
everyone
who've been online as well, and they're saying thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have found that useful as well. We're having 4 weeks now, I think. Yeah, 4 weeks of a non-stop guest mentors within the next 4 weeks. So I think the guys are going to love it. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you in tonight, and you've confirmed a lot of things as well.
Thank you for
How can people connect with you? LinkedIn and Facebook?
Connect on LinkedIn. It's Pauline P. Sawaya. On Instagram, it's Pauline Sawaya. Everywhere, it's consistent. It's Pauline Sawaya. And I'll be more than glad to hear from you. And let's connect.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And looking forward to be catching up with you personally soon.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.